Have you ever experienced a great victory? Something like the winning score after a nail biter game against your biggest rival, or bumping up your grade a full letter grade, or maybe even two after doing so well on a final exam. Or maybe it's something more personal like making a hard decision that turned out really well, or overcoming something like depression. If you have, then you know just how good it feels to win. One of the reasons it feels so good is because you did not give up fighting through the hard stuff. We see this in video games all the time. If there's not a certain level of difficulty in the game, then the victory just feels kind of meh, feels kind of pointless, feels kind of dumb. I remember I took a class in high school, and the biggest part of this class was a paper. And I remember being really nervous about writing this paper, but I decided to hunker down and give it my best. And there were many times where I was like, oh, I really don't want to do this. This feels like a bit much. Ugh, this is the worst. And I ended up persevering and enduring and making my way through it all. And I submitted the paper, and a couple weeks later, the teacher comes up to me and he folds his arms and he looks at me and he goes, Austin, how well did you prepare for that paper? And I was like, oh, no. And I was like, I worked pretty hard on it. And he goes, I can tell. That was by far one of the best papers I have ever read. It was only an A minus. That's how hard the class was. It was one of the best papers he ever read, but it was only an A minus. But man, did it feel good. There's something about knowing or experiencing or feeling the fact that you never gave up. That despite how many obstacles were in your way and pushing against you, they didn't make you quit. You persevered. Great victories, they're awaiting all of us around all of the corners of our obstacles. 1 John chapter 5 verses 4 and 5 says, "For everyone born of God overcomes the world. This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith." Who is it that overcomes the world? Only the one who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. Your very nature as a Christian deems you victorious every single day. It's often hard for us to remember that because we don't often feel victorious day in and day out. But when you believe Jesus, when you believe in who he is, when you chose to follow him with your life, to commit to him, to surrender to him, you became victorious. Not by anything that you say, not by anything that you do, but by the very truth that you believe in a God that has already overcome the world and all the hardship that comes with it. And you share a relationship with that God. I think we love the idea of getting to go to heaven one day. I think we love the idea of being able to talk to God through prayer. I think we love hearing good sermons that give us practical steps to grow in our faith. But I also think we forget the power of God amidst it all. It's just not something we think about. We get so entranced by the future of our faith and our relationship with God that we completely dismiss both his ability to overcome struggles and the very truth that he already has overcome struggles. Struggle is not something that we have to beg God for to intervene and to redeem because he already has. That's the big picture we often miss. I hope you hear that this morning, that no matter where you are, no matter what you are experiencing, God is not only with you in it, but he has already proclaimed victory over it. Ask him to open your eyes this morning to see the victory.